I wiped my face clean. No pursing, no furrowing, no pretending to notice a stain on the wall above her shoulder. I'll just unpack, and then we'll catch up. She surveyed the blue room with its sister parish elegance, cracked windows and fresh sheets, and sniffed. That sniff. Aunt Cis shouldn't throw stones in the glass house of similarity. She had every nuance of Mother's sniff down. I was on my way to the garden to cut you some late-blooming roses when Marjorie arrived. I'll do that while you unpack. She inclined her chin and looked over imaginary readers, another one of Mother's habits. Thank you, dear. Also, I'll need you to run a load of laundry for me. I inclined my chin, too. I'll be happy to show you the laundry room. She tilted her head and stared at me. The sort of considering look one uses when deciding upon a major purchase. Yes, that Poochie dress is lovely, but is it worth the price? The moment stretched. After what seemed like an eternity, she smiled. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. I'd won. And easily. Maybe Aunt Cis was less like Mother than I thought. I took Aunt Cis to the Waldo Astoria. My friends who'd attended told me it was newer and nicer than Tiffany's attic. Marjorie developed plans and couldn't join us. I didn't bother asking Grace. We stood in the lobby, admiring the 1920s-style glamour. The owners had redone a movie theater. I'd expected tacky. This wasn't. It was lovely. Cassie LaCour waved at me from across the lobby. Sometimes that happens. You don't see someone for weeks on end, and then you run into them in the oddest places. Poor Cassie. Being married to a man named Kinky LaCour must be a heavy cross to bear. Not that her husband's real name is Kinky. He introduces himself as Kenneth. Probably when they met in college, he introduced himself as Ken. But to those of us who have known him his whole life, he'll always be Kinky. Mother says when one's last name sounds as if it might belong to a professional dancer, one must be extra careful when selecting first names. The LaCours obviously never heard her wax lyrical on this point. Or maybe she waxes because of what Bob and Mary LaCour named their children. Kenneth Key, show me a bunch of high school boys who won't shorten that to Kinky, and his sister Candace, called Candy. I waved back. A friend of yours, dear? Asked Aunt Cis. More of an acquaintance. Cassie was with her mother-in-law and looked none too happy about it. I didn't blame her. Aunt Cis squinted at them. Is that Mary Laughlin? Mary LaCour. My aunt nodded. Her maiden name was Laughlin. I must say hello. She pushed her way through the crowd, elbowing as she went. I followed in her wake. In her bell-bottom pants and loose tunic, Aunt Cis looked like an aging hippie. Mary Laughlin LaCour looked like a woman whose carefully orchestrated ensemble had been purchased in its entirety at Swanson's. Mary tried for an air kiss, but Cis pulled her into a real hug. After a mere second, Mary pulled away and smoothed the wrinkles from her clothes. What a surprise to see you, Cecilia. I decided to come home for a few weeks. I'm sure your family is delighted to see you. Mary offered me a tight smile, one that looked empathetic. You poor dear, you got stuck with your crazy aunt. Empathetic. Was she really suggesting we were less than pleased with Aunt Cis's arrival in front of Aunt Cis? I reached for my aunt's hand and squeezed her fingers. We're thrilled she's here. Your mother must be getting excited about the gala, Ellison. I nodded. Barely. Jonna and I are benefactors. We just love the museum. History is so important. Have you seen the new exhibit? Did she even know where the museum was? Her cheeks pinked. Not yet, but we will tomorrow night at the benefactors' party. She shifted her gaze to Cis. What a treat that